Good day, everyone. I am Kathleen Hinasa Bujungan, and welcome to our discussion about the psychosocial stage theory. Today, we're focusing on Erikson's theory of psychosocial development. This theory is important to understand as it provides a framework for understanding the various stages of psychosocial development that an individual may go through over the course of their life. One of the most well known books in this topic is Psychosocial Development A Lifespan View by Presley and McCormick. This book provides an extensive overview of Erikson's theory and its 8 stages of psychosocial development. As we delve into this theory, it's important to note that Erikson's theory is not the only theory of psychosocial development. There are many other theories out there, such as Piaget's theory of cognitive development and Maslow's theory of human motivation. However, Erikson's theory stands out for its emphasis on identity development and social development, which are two important components of psychosocial development. Here are the 8 stages of psychosocial development according to Erikson. The first stage is the trust versus mistrust. For the second stage, we have autonomy versus shame and doubt. For the third stage, we have initiative versus guilt. The fourth one is the industry versus inferiority. Fifth is the identity versus identity confusion. Then we have intimacy versus isolation in the sixth stage. For the seventh stage, we have generativity versus stagnation. And of course, the last stage, which is the integrity versus despair. These stages are not necessarily linear or sequential, and individuals may move back and forth between stages based on their experiences and developmental milestones. However, it's important to note that each stage represents a period of major psychological development and growth, and it's essential to understand the tasks and challenges that individuals may face during each stage. Now let's take a closer look at each of Erikson's stages of psychosocial development. The first stage of psychosocial development, according to Erikson, is the trust versus mistrust stage. This stage is marked by an individual's earliest experiences of love, affection, and security. During this stage, the infant learns to trust that the world is a safe and secure place, and they develop a sense of trust and bonding with their primary caregiver. If trust is not adequately established during this stage, the individual can become insecure and may have difficulty trusting others later in the future. This can lead to feelings of anxiety, mistrust, and low self esteem. The second stage of psychosocial development is called autonomy versus shame and doubt. In this stage, infants learn to explore their surroundings and develop a sense of autonomy. If they experience support and encouragement from their caregivers, they will develop a strong sense of self confidence and independence, which will lead to a strong sense of self efficacy later in life. On the other hand, if they experience excessive criticism or doubt from their caregivers, they will develop a sense of shame and low self esteem, which can lead to a sense of inferiority and social anxiety later in life. Stage 3: Initiative versus Guilt. In this stage, toddlers learn to take initiative and make choices. If they receive positive reinforcement and guidance from their caregivers, they will develop a strong sense of initiative and drive to make their own decisions. On the other hand, if they receive frequent criticism or guilt tripping from their caregivers, they will develop a sense of guilt and indecision, which can lead to a lack of confidence and a sense of powerlessness later in life. Stage 4, we have industry versus inferiority. In this stage, children learn to set goals and work towards them. If they receive support and encouragement from their caregivers, they will develop a strong work ethic and a sense of self worth, which will lead to success in later life. On the other hand, if they receive frequent criticism or feelings of inadequacy from their caregivers, they will develop a sense of inferiority and a lack of confidence, which can lead to a lack of motivation and a sense of failure. Stage 5: Identity versus Role Confusion. In this stage, children are beginning to form their own identity and develop a sense of their place in the world. If they receive support and guidance from their caregivers, they will develop a sense of self awareness and a clear sense of who they are and what their passions are, which can lead to success in the future. On the other hand, if they receive frequent criticism or lack of support from their caregivers, they will develop a sense of confusion and a lack of purpose, which can lead to a lack of motivation, a lack of direction, and possibly even depression and anxiety. Stage 6: Intimacy versus Isolation. In this stage, adolescents are developing an understanding of close relationships and their need for emotional connection. If they receive support and guidance from their caregivers and others in their lives, they will develop a strong sense of intimacy and a desire for close relationships, which can lead to successful and fulfilling relationships in the future. However, if they experience frequent criticism or lack of support from their carers and others in their lives, they will develop a sense of loneliness and a fear of rejection, which can lead to a lack of self esteem and also depression and anxiety. Stage 7: Generativity versus Stagnation. In this stage, adults are developing a sense of purpose and their role in the world. If they receive support and guidance from their caregivers and others in their lives, they will develop a strong sense of generativity and a desire to contribute to the world in some meaningful way, which can lead to a sense of fulfillment and purpose later in life. But if they experience frequent criticism or lack of support from their caregivers and others in their lives, they will develop a sense of stagnation and a lack of purpose, which can lead to a lack of motivation and a lack of satisfaction. Stage 8: Integrity versus Despair. In this stage, adults are confronting their mortality and evaluating their life choices. If they receive support and guidance from their caregivers and others in their lives, they will develop a sense of integrity and a desire to live by their values and beliefs, which can lead a sense of fulfillment and a peaceful acceptance of their mortality later in life. On the other hand, if they experience frequent criticism or lack of support from their caregivers and others in their lives, they will develop a sense of regret and a lack of meaning in their lives, which can lead to a sense of despair and a possibly even depression and anxiety. And that is all the 8 stages of psychosocial development. Again, the 8 stages of psychosocial development are trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, identity versus identity confusion, intimacy versus isolation, generativity versus stagnation, and integrity versus despair. It is very important to remember that the psychosocial development stages described by Erik Erikson are not linear or rigid. Individuals may not experience each stage in the same order or at the same time as others, and they may experience stages multiple times throughout their lives. Additionally, individuals may not experience all stages to the same degree or with the same intensity. Nonetheless, the psychosocial development stages serve as a general guide for understanding the different challenges and opportunities that individuals may face throughout their lives as they strive to achieve self actualization and a sense of fulfillment. Another important point to note is that the psychosocial development stages identified by Erickson are just one of many different theories and models used to understand the complex process of human development. There have been numerous other theories and models developed by psychologists and researchers over the years, and each theory has its own unique insights and perspectives on human development. One additional aspect of psychosocial development that is worth considering is the role of culture and society in shaping individual experiences and outcomes. Different cultures and societies have different customs, traditions, and values, and these differences can have a significant impact on the way that individuals perceive themselves and others, as well as on the challenges and opportunities they may face. It's important to recognize that psychosocial development is not merely a personal process, but rather a complex interaction between the individual and their cultural and social context. In summary, psychosocial development is a deeply complex and multifaceted process that involves a wide range of factors that can influence the way individuals develop and grow. While the stages of psychosocial development identified by Erickson are a useful framework for understanding this process, they are by no means the only or even the most complete way of understanding human development. As such, it's important to consider multiple perspectives and theories when trying to understand the unique challenges and opportunities that individuals face throughout their lives. I hope that you learned a lot from today's discussion. Thanks for watching and have a good day.